Yeah, of course. You couldn't state it better because, even when they started that role, we saw a portion of it. I don't know. I was riding with you. Remember?
Yeah,
When
we're
we,
together on
yeah, yeah,
the counter tour.
right. And they were doing those corvettes, and we talked to engineers, young Liberian engineers, who had were in control. Though you had the Chinese there also monitoring the whole thing. It is this president's hope. Lofa has been the breadbasket of Liberia, and depending on who you ask, this new argument that you know Alabang Nimba has stolen the show
I know.
because accessibility, the roads there are good and are they better compared to going to Lofa. At certain point when you get to after Zaza or there, man, it's not easy getting into Lofa, and the people need to bring the crops into the market.
Yeah.
And it's not like before them. Back in the day, we never experienced such a thing. I don't know how the people did it, but they had these front end loaders, these caterpillar machines, and they were everywhere. That was normal day, what you used to say.
Yeah, the normal day.
Yeah, in Jamaica said normal day, rest in peace. But then you will see them, doing work in the middle part. Nobody called public work then, compared to the way all their hands are full. So we just pray
And
that
Kwame,
things
the work is
continue.
happening across different sectors. This is just the infrastructure side we're talking about. I mean, the road side we're talking about, but in the health sector as well. We for years we're in this country when something as simple as an MRI machine, wasn't at the JFK. CT scan and all
Yeah,
of that.
yeah.
The JFK never had it. That some of the times people have accidents. They had to be flown overseas. To some of our neighbors just to be attended to. But the narrative is beginning to change. We've managed to fully staff, equip the JFK hospital. So some of the doctors overseas, upgraded doctor salaries. The last time we were the last time the president was at the JFK was to dedicate a dialysis unit, and this is a unit that takes care of kidney. It's quite dedicated. And now we're talking about a cardiology unit. This one takes care of the heart. To talk more about that, we have the public relations officer of the John F. Kennedy Medical Center on the line, James Creighton. James, good morning.
Well, good morning, Minister of Work and Profana, and let me say good morning to Big Brother Kwame Popa-Week, the Director General of the Liberian News Agency.
Yeah, James, tell us about this cardiology unit that is, being talked about.
Okay, yes. First of all, let me say that I'm happy to be here and thanks to you guys for the work you continue to do in promoting the policies of the government and the developmental initiative by our president, President George Manuel Weah. Yes, indeed, because Minister Fofana, if you can agree with me, since the inception of the George Manuel Weah-led government, the JFK Medical Center as the premier medical facility in the country has continued to experience transformation in terms of upgrading the healthcare system and the management of the medical center in order to meet up with international standard and providing healthcare for our people. So it is evident by the fact that you just listed some of those initiatives that have been undertaken by this government, especially with the hard working team that you have there under the leadership of President George Manuel Weah and the management team headed by our CEO, Dr. Jerry Farrell Brown, and his able deputy, which is Dama Yekasin Kova, and that of who is the deputy CEO, and also the chief medical officer of the JSK, Dr. Sia Watakamana. So now, because of the government own commitment to let's say improving the healthcare sector of Liberia, you now have the imaging suite at the JFK Medical Center where you have the CT scan and MRI machines and all of that. Those things were not there, before, even though they have all of the budgetary, support from international partners, but these things couldn't be seen at the nation's premier medical facility. You also have under this leadership of President George Manuel Weah, you have the trauma intensive care unit
Yes.
that is catering to Liberians.
And we should say kudos
I was there just
kudos to
recently.
the CEO of NUCAR for initiating that particular project.
to
Yeah.
partner with
C'est
the
fois bien great.
at Micat there. You have the microbiology laboratory.
Yeah.
Now you have the dialysis unit or center there, and you also have the pediatric emergency unit there. So all of these things are happening because of the president's own commitment to improving the health sector of the Republic of Liberia. So now to the issue of the memorandum of understanding that were signed by the that's a joint partnership with the a hospital in China called the HOUE Medical Center that is in China. Is located in China. Is a cardiovascular center, and the HOUE Provincial Hospital. So they signed this memorandum of understanding with the GSK Medical Center Management, and the program was there on Wednesday. Wednesday, and this identical that was February 9th, Wednesday this week. So the program was attended by the Chinese ambassador, His Excellency Yang Shen, right? So I mean I get the pronunciation of
Yeah, that's his name.
good because of the
Kwame know that name there.
Excellency Ambassador Yang Shen. He was also at that program along with the GSK management. So they signed this memorandum of understanding in order to, and this memorandum of understanding will seek to cooperatively build an independent cardiology unit at the GSK Medical Center. And Minister Fofana, that is the first of the kind. I've done my research since I've been there. I've done my research in terms of this identical, cardiology center or unit being established at the GSK Medical Center, specifically in the internal medicine department. This is the first of the kind. And this facility, we have the capacity of 12 days, 8 ordinary days and 4 monitoring days. And the project will also provide training for 4 cardiology doctors, and also 4 nurses to specialize, in treating cardiac related diseases also. Because, in Liberia, we have like the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer doing the program mentioned that we have cases of, like acute cases or cardiac, issues, heart attack, heart-related diseases,
right,
and all of that. We are not being able to treat them. So with the coming in of this cardiology unit at the GSK Medical Center through the effort of the European Provincial Hospital in China, we are going to be able to cater to cases relating to cardiac, arrest and all of that, and for Liberian people. And he also said that his dream or his passion aligned with the president's own passion of reducing the number of referrals. That is, if someone goes at medical center and have heart disease and all of that, before then we will usually make a referral out of the country to be treated in other African countries, or in America or so. But now, once you have the establishment of the cardio unit at JFK, which of course, even some of the equipment have already been procured by the Chinese government through this hospital, and they have brought them, and they are at JFK now. So that is the first phase of the project. They already commenced. Some equipment and medical supply was given through this while the MOU were being signed. This let's say equipment was provided already for this project to commence. Yeah, so those are the things that the project will cover it.
Well, and when do we see an actual unit at the JFK?
Well, because the project will last for in the time frame of 3 years.
Okay.
3 years. So the first aspect that, according to the management or the authorities of the European Provincial Hospital, they are going to have medical, some of our doctors and there's 4 of our doctors as first batch, 4 of our doctors and nurses to be trained in China. They will leave from here and go to China and get the required training and all of that. Then they will come along with some of the experts from China, to be able to set up the system and all of that. Because some of those equipment that will be there, we're talking about the cardiopulmonary or resuscitation, as the CPR machines and EKG machines, monitoring and machines and all of that. So they will definitely need an expert to set up these machines and be able to train our own people how to operate these machines. So the project will last within a time 3 years. Yeah.
Wow.
But tell us generally about JFK. So but before then, if the project going to last 3 years, so that you mean the whole
Setup,
process
yeah.
of setting it up, coming into
Training.
fruition, training and everything, is going to take 3 years to really take off. That's what you mean.
Exactly. Everything is incorporated. So why it is ongoing? The Chinese, because the Chinese are going to send their own medical team here, wherein they're going to be guiding the process, until its logical conclusion or finish. They're going to be guiding the project up to its logical conclusion. But meanwhile, they are still going to be taking, some patients to be treating them with those common diseases, acute, and cardiac issues and all of that.
Yeah, so I was going to ask about generally at the JFK. I mean, are people aware of the level of transformation to the extent that they're beginning to use the JFK more? Are more people coming? They're making use of the services. For instance, the dialysis lab unit was open. Are people coming there, or people prefer stay to go overseas for treatment and all of that?
Well, Minister Fofana, I can tell you for sure that the dialysis center is having, the required, that's a patient number, because it has increased in fact, because on the initial stage of the dedication of the project by His Excellency the President of Liberia and that of our own partners in Japan, who through their effort were able to have the dialysis here in the Liberian government. That identical facility now is being used by Liberians. I must tell you that, because even yesterday we were there because the Ministry of Health needed to formally officially complete the issue of turning over this facility to the JFK management, so that JFK will be the one solely operating the facility, because initially it was actually being managed by the Ministry of Health. But later on, because they needed to put some documentation and all of that together, they have been transferred to the JFK management now. So we did a observation yesterday. We did our own observation, and then we saw that some patients were already responding to treatment at the facility.
Okay, thank you so much. Another thing you want to tell us? Oh yeah, Kwame, you got a question?
Yeah, no, let him go.
Another thing you want to tell us?
Yeah. So the issue that has to do with the microbiology laboratory, I think we spoke about it the other time.
Yeah.
This is a very very transformative project also that have been undertaken by the Liberian government and our partners. And this lab is state of the art, and you have all of the equipment. You have the U.S. ambassador going to the to that laboratory, and the other time visiting there. And there you have equipment, state of the art equipment there, wherein they can be able to conduct tests and things. If you have some of those diseases where you have maybe you have some liquid in the lungs and all of that, you can be able to get those liquid and test them to know as well you have those microorganisms that are responsible for that liquid being stored in your lungs or all of that. So there are many things that have been happening. Even the CT scan and the ultrasound or the MRI and machines that that to come and all of that. Because the management have a vision of transforming the medical center. And then it also includes the president's own vision of establishing, or let's say building another a hospital, JFK, like he makes the pronouncement, the other time. So that is all intended to expand the medical center, because as the population grows, the JFK Medical Center was established or built in 1971. And from that time to this time, look at the population increase. That's why you even have, sometimes you'll see the problem of bed issue and all of that. It is not an issue of bed, but an issue of bed space because of the medical center.
Right.
And then, overcrowded, the doctors are sometimes overwhelmed because of the patient intake and all of that, and it being the national referral hospital and all of that. Are very committed to making sure that they provide affordable healthcare services to the Liberian population.
And sticking with doctors being overwhelmed, I know we have, and I want you to correct me, only one neurosurgeon for the entire country, who is Dr. Dorr. And I know I've spoken with him a couple of times. He's overwhelmed, and some spinal issues and brain issues and all of that that has to fall within his confines. And one of those doctors, especially a neurosurgeon, will not do certain procedures without him being flanked by other doctors. Do we have other doctors or young trainees in looking in that direction, especially knowing that most of our illness now are coming because they're having spinal and brain issues?
Yeah, during the weeks, that is a very salient point, and I must admit that yes, indeed, our only neurosurgeon we have in the country, he has been doing a very great job there at the GFK Medical Center, and we appreciate the Polibo Neuroscience Foundation because they usually come on a yearly basis
Oh,
to
okay.
help, and to help, yeah, to have men the strength, and in terms of providing, because they just left the country I think few weeks ago. They were supposed to conduct surgical operation for over 50 plus Liberians, Yeah, that is a team that usually come to beef up the strength of Dr. Doe and the medical center, in that area of treating neuroscience or neurosurgical, let's say, or issues, so then also there are some doctors that are, part of the program too, headed by he who is the neurosurgeon there, the only neurosurgeon. He's the one who is encouraging other doctors, and they are part of the program now. The training process is being handled by the Good Neuroscience Foundation. So in subsequent time, we have more of Dr. Doe in the country.
And final question, I want you to step aside, look into JFK, and tell me what you think are the current problem facing the hospital.
In terms of, because there is no institution that is challenge or free. Every institution has their own challenges, and and those challenges are actually being discussed at the level of the board. So I would not like to say anything relative to that, on the radio now, because these things are being addressed by the board. Like you see, most of the challenges that were there initially when the current management team took over, some of those challenges have already been settled through the effort of the board. So I would like to leave it with my bosses. Then they are definitely going to handle it. But some of the challenges are there, and they are working towards resolving them.
And recently, you guys were talking. I know you've been working with seminars and your nurses. And one major thing that Liberian hospitals struggle. A friend told me, he said, Kwame, it is not the treatment or all of that or the illness that's going to kill you. It's the way some of these nurses come at you. How are you when it comes to customer service?
Customer service, yeah. Customer service, I think we're having an offside or behind the scene conversation the other time, and I told you that the management is doing everything possible through the Department of Nursing Services and our Social Services Department there, so that they organize these seminars or that we train our nurses relative to customer.
Yeah, but they want not just be with JFK, they want the whole country, everybody, all the nurses they get some kind of issue with customer service. Yeah.
Some, please, some.
Yeah, most of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so from the side of the GFK Medical Center, our bosses are working on that with the organization of these seminars to train our nurses in terms of good customer care service, because this is the reason why they are employed. This is the reason why they are there, because of our deputy CEO usually tell them that you are the first phase of that's a contact, or the other for you to show that someone is welcome to the facility. People come here, they are traumatized because they are relative, are sick, and all of that. So there are times that they will be very much, or maybe sometimes I would not like to say arrogant, but there will be some confrontation. And you just avoid it, and be able to talk to them in the most polite manner that will calm them down. And that is the kind of nature of nurses that we need to have around here. So our DCU usually inform them about that. So customer care service is on point from our side. We are working, the management is working towards that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, James. That was a great presentation, as always, by James Creighton.
And what James was saying, I had an experience. I work with a lot of these people who call to think that I sometimes don't like to be in that position. I have a patient now, got two patients at JFK. One was an amputee, and thanks to folks out there who donated and so forth. But sometimes I think what happened, I don't want to say the hospital, but this nurse was on her phone, and I took this prescription stuff to her, and she inadvertently, because she was communicating with somebody on her phone, switched the drugs. You know,
Wow.
so I give her what the doctor gave me, and I won't say the hospital, and I gave it to her, and so she was on the phone. So I was just like, let me not just say something because I really need this drug.
Yeah.
If I should say anything, she would
She'll get very-
she'll get angry.
shut
and
the
she-
door.
Right, she will not. So, and it was late, so I just kept my cool and quiet, and I was like, no. And there were two Kwame fighting in me. The one saying, go, I heard. The one saying, no, don't be stupid here. Do it because of this person. And she inadvertently, the other guy was standing there. He gave his paper first. She took all the guy's drugs and gave it to me.
Wow.
And I
you
left.
see why you need to pay attention.
Right. So when I left, something told me, say, just look at the paper for a minute, trust but verify, And when I flip, and good thing I knew the patient's name, and then I saw it.
Wow.
Then I saw her chasing me. By the time I was turning now to come back in the pharmacy to find her, she was running for her life.
Yeah, because she knew the consequences. That would have been because you gave the wrong drug to the wrong person.
I mean,
Wow.
there's a lot. And sticking with the trauma unit at GFK, there's this procedure room, young doctors there doing impeccably well.
Yeah.
If you go to the surgical ward, you see a nurse there spoke to me at JFK a couple of nights ago. It felt like somebody, wasted cold water on me. I felt so good. She's like, sir, how are you? Welcome. How you doing? And then one thing to another, she said, who you came to? I said, I came to Abigail. She said, okay, hold on 1 second. Then she called the other nurse, and you see these people,
Yeah.
and I told her they're saving lives.
I know.
And you have some people out there who downgrade and put down, our nurses for the kind of work that they do. These people leave, even under all the circumstances. The schools are not equipped, You don't have the kind of microscopes. You don't have the kind of technology, yet still they're going out there every day to save life, because the first responders, that's the most important thing. And to have a cardiac, a cardiac unit, you're talking about coronary artery problem, heart
Yeah.
failure,
Yeah.
clots, structural issues, disease vessels, and all of these different things that come with heart diseases.
Yeah.
And mind you, the common of all of them will be high blood pressure. And now people will just come out. Every doctor will just, oh my man, I got high blood pressure. They just think it's a stylish thing.
Stop.
Yeah, people just, oh yeah, my pocket high blood pressure, and stuff like that. They just think it's something. But like he was talking, and a simple procedure like EKG,
Yeah.
you don't have it around people. And you remember, I filmed this lady the other day, and she had on her arm,
Yeah.
diabetic. She tattooed her entire hand. And she said that saved me one time because I know.
She could go off and fall down.
They took her to the
very
hospital,
shocked.
and the guy took them the injection and was about to. I think they gave them there's some DL or FL or some kind of L that they give them, the type of drip. But it's some kind of L drip that they give them, and they don't give the drip that they give you and myself.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. And because the guy saw her arm, he said, "Wow!" He had to go and switch, and then that saved her. So there's a lot been happening, and then our people don't trust the medical process. Somebody's sick now, they're taking them, carrying them to some pastor. No disrespect, but like it's there. They go right. It's there in the Bible. You got to take the person to the hospital. And then in the hospital, the pastor can now come and do the prayer while the insulins and all the different things are working. Or they take the person and say, look, we're taking you got cancer, but we're taking you to some herbalist way in Kwame's mom's village, and they're giving you all of these unmeasured portion of drink for you to imbibe, and next thing, those are the things that end up killing you. But I mean, Creighton was very, very flawless, and
He's always.
I tried to push him, but
Creighton
he's
is a
like,
natural PR person.
right.
He's a natural PR person. I thought he was at his best this morning, especially talking about the different developments happening at the JFK. But we've talked sufficiently about customer service in Liberia, or not sufficient, but at least we've talked about it before. And it's quite important, especially in the medical field, because when people go to the hospitals, they expect because they're already in distress. You know, the person is suffering from some ailment and goes to the hospital and expect that they're going to receive a cure or treatment, you know, at that place. And the first, you know, interaction the person is going to have will be with, the nurses
The people who are supposed to save
to
them.
be able to save them and provide some care and all of those stuff. So to expect that that person would be because when people get sick, they can be all kinds of different state of mind.
Especially
so
the
some of the time
family.
they can make demands. Obviously, we understand the kind of tax the nurses. You know, are confronted with on a daily basis. Dealing with sick people isn't no small feat. You know, some of the times people in different mental state, and so it tests your patience. We understand that, but that's why we thought that you were trained for. You know, so if you're trained for these things, we know that. I mean, we expect that
You can handle.
you can
handle
handle
all the
you know,
pressure and
all
all
the
the
different
tension.
pressure, and you know, you shouldn't buckle and start to respond to people because it's becoming a norm now. You know, across the
It's
different
bad. It's bad.
yeah, the
It's
different
bad.
medical centers.
You know, it's just like it's becoming like what's happening. What will happen at a certain point in the in the in the U.S. where they had the good cops and the bad cops, and then the entire American